Hey, so if you don't know me, my name is Malaika Burley, and I just wanted to come on here today to encourage somebody, and hopefully you can hear me okay. I am outside. I am outside, and of course there are a bunch of outside noises and things going on, so I'm hoping you'll be able to hear me okay, but like I said, I just wanted to come on here and encourage someone. If you know someone may be going through, maybe it's not you, maybe you want to share this and hopefully it will encourage them. But I just wanted to share a little bit about what I've been going through. I wanted to talk about my cloud. And like I said, hopefully this will be some encouragement to someone. And again, if you know of anyone that needs some encouragement today, please feel free to share this with them. So this is the first piece of my story that I'm sharing publicly as well, and the things that we've gone through in the last 3 years. And if you know anybody's story, there's so many chapters, right, in someone's story, and that's what makes the story good, right? You're going through and the story unfolds, and one thing connects to another. And so there are so many layers to my story over this last 3 years. So I'm not going to give that all to you right now, because if I did, that would basically, you know how like you go to church and the pastor's like, give me 30 minutes, but then it's like 2 hours later. Yeah, that's like every pastor everywhere, right? So I don't want to do that because we'll be here all day. So I'm just going to give you a piece of my story right now, and then of course I'll be back at another time to share more of it with you. All right, so, and like I said, hopefully you can hear me because I am outside. So all right, so I want to talk about, do you guys remember back in the day there used to be this commercial, and it was for like antidepressive medication. You know, if depression's something you're going through, you know, I pray that God gives you the right method to deal with that, whether it's medication or therapy, or whatever it is, that you get help with the situation. And I just want to say, I am not depressed. I was not depressed over the last 3 years. I just wanted to share this little thing from this commercial. So it was like a cartoon version of the commercial, and there was this guy, or it might have been a lady, I don't really remember, but anyway, the cartoon character, and there would be this cloud. And so they would be going wherever they go, the cloud was going with them, right? And so the cloud was like representing their depression or their sadness. And so, you know, the sun would be shining all around them, on everyone else, but for them, their cloud was just going with them wherever they went. Their cloud, which was, like I said, represented their sadness or their depression. And again, I'm not depressed, but I'm just using this as an example for you, okay? But you know, so sometimes it would rain under this cloud, sometimes it would be storming, and other times the cloud was just there for the person, and they see everyone else enjoying life and enjoying the sun and going through, but they had this cloud. And of course, because it was an anti-depression medication commercial, you know, they got their medicine, and then the cloud was lifted and they were in the sun and they were enjoying all the things, right? So I want to talk about my cloud that I've been under for the last almost 3 years. And so most of you don't know that for the last 3 years I have been going through the adoption process. And if you happen to see my story, I said that we were out celebrating family, and so that was because of the culmination of all of this. And so for the last 3 years, I've been going through the adoption process to adopt my oldest daughter. My oldest daughter was my stepdaughter. Now legally she's my daughter, but she was my stepdaughter. And like I said, as parts of my story, like one thing just leads to another. But I had to go through this adoption process over the last 3 years. And thank God the cloud has finally moved, and I'm shining in the sun, and we are moving forward into new seasons and new things, and I'm so thankful for that. But hopefully this will encourage some of you that may be in your cloudy season, because like I said, we have been going through this for 3 long years, and people thought it was over. People that knew that I was going through the adoption process thought it was done a long time ago. They didn't even realize I was still going through this thing all this time. But yes, it's been 3 years. They thought it was over. Nope, it was not over. I was still going through, but they didn't really know because I wasn't talking about it. I wasn't really complaining about it. I was just living under my cloud for 3 long years. So, you know, and just like the guy in the commercial, I could still feel the sun. I could see other people enjoying the sun while I was under my cloud, but I was just still under this cloud for 3 years. I could, sometimes the cloud was just there. Sometimes it would rain under my cloud, but for 3 years I've been dealing with this cloud. And see, when the cloud's just hovering, you know, like I said, you can still see the sun shining. You can still see other people enjoying the sunshine. And sometimes when you're under this cloud, you feel like you're the only one that's dealing with this cloud. Even over the 3 years, I would see other people's clouds, and then I would see their clouds leave. But I was still under mine for an entire 3 years. And sometimes under my cloud, it would rain, and I would get soaked, because I didn't know when it was going to rain. I didn't know, you know, when that rain was going to come. I didn't know if this was going to be a day where I just had my cloud hovering, or if it was going to be a day that it was going to storm. But I was still under that cloud. Sometimes, like I said, you feel like you're alone, and you're wondering, like, why is it raining over me? Why am I the one with this cloud? Why am I dealing with it? And it seems like everyone else is just out there enjoying the sun. But hindsight is 20/20, right? That's what we say. And so I was woken up at like 3:30 this morning with this revelation. And the revelation was it a cloud or was it a covering? So was it a cloud that I had over me for the last 3 years, or was it a covering that I was dealing with? See, in Exodus, for the children of Israel, when the cloud was present, that was a covering for them. Sometimes it was the protection. Sometimes their cloud led the way, and sometimes the glory of the Lord was in their cloud. And for Noah in Genesis 9, he had a promise in the cloud. So, like I said, I was woken up at 3:30 this morning wondering, was this a cloud or was this my covering? Was this my protection? Was my rainbow in the cloud? Was there a promise for me in the cloud? And so sometimes, like I said, the cloud would just be hovering, and I would just be going through the adoption process, just dealing with the visits. And y'all, I'm an introvert. I don't really like a lot of people around. I don't like people in my business. But when I had to deal with someone coming over every 2 weeks to, you know, check on us and see how things were going. And, you know, bless their hearts, they were really sweet people. But when you don't want that, and you don't want to feel like you're being judged, and you don't want to feel like someone's checking on you, you know, that was just something I had to deal with that I hated, that I didn't like. And I had to just go through, and I just had that cloud, you know, while I was going through the process and dealing with those visits and dealing with the different appointments and things that I had to do over this last 3 years. But that cloud, or that covering, was also, it was protecting me from the heat. See, it was protecting me from those tough situations and the battles that I had to deal with over those 3 years going through this adoption process. Those battles that would be too tough for me to handle, my covering was there for me. And my cloud, or my covering, was there to make sure things didn't get too hot for me, because I can only handle so much, right? But when I had that cloud there to cover me and protect me, because, you know, like when you go out, my favorite times to take the kids to the park is when it's overcast, right? When it's cloudy, because it's not too hot. So under my cloud, things didn't get too hot for me, because the Lord was there for me, and he was letting me know that he was still there and he was still in control. So all this time under my cloud, I'm thinking that, hey, Pastor Reno, so I'm thinking that it's a cloud, but it was protecting me. It was protecting me from things getting too hot. And also, like I said, reminding me that he is still in control. And then sometimes under my cloud, it would start raining. Thank you, Pastor Reno. Sometimes under my cloud, it would start raining and I would get soaked and drenched because, like I said, I didn't know when it was going to rain. I didn't know when these situations were going to come up for me, right? Because, like I said, he's in control. So he would control when it rains and when it didn't. I had to deal with lies, people lying on me and people attacking me, people trying to tear my family apart. Going through all this, I had to deal with a bunch of legal stuff. And those were times that it rained for me. And it was just stuff that things just didn't make sense and situations didn't make sense. And like I said, I didn't know, like, why am I having to have this cloud for 3 long years? Because honestly, it should have ended, or at least in my eyes, it should have ended a lot sooner than what it did. And then under this cloud, when it would start raining, I would feel unsafe, insecure, and completely out of control. But what I do know is that when it rains, rain washes things away. Rain makes things new. Rain nourishes and replenishes us in droughts. Rain also gets us ready for a new season because new things spring up after it rains. So, like I said, was it a cloud all this time in these 3 years, or was it actually a covering for me? And so the Lord told me, like, a long time ago when we first started going through this, that my family was going to be okay. And he actually told me that several times. But me, I like to be in control of things. But when I was under this cloud or this covering, I had no choice but to let go and let him handle it. Just like I can't control when it rains and when it doesn't rain, I had to trust him that he knew what he was doing over these 3 long years. And over these 3 years, my faith was tested. I wanted to give up. I developed anxiety, and that is not me. I don't have anxiety about things usually ever, but I actually started getting anxiety over these last 3 years, and I had to depend on him and allow him to work on my faith and help my faith grow to the level that he needed it to grow. Because my covering and my cloud, my rain, I believe was preparing me for a new season that I'm about to step into. And so I had to trust, just like Noah, that there was a promise in that cloud for me. And God fought my battles, every single one. And there were so many battles over the last 3 years. And I am just so thankful that this war has been won. This war has been won. The adoption process is over. We are one family unit. No one can do anything to break that apart. And I am so thankful that God was there for me through this entire 3 years. And that, like I said, he fought every single battle for me. Because like I said, I wasn't in control of anything, and I couldn't do anything but let him do what he was going to do. So I just wanted to come on and encourage you and just let you know that if the Lord says so, it is so. Whatever he says. Thank you, Pastor Reno. He is not a man that he shall lie. Be patient through the time where it seems like that cloud's just there. Just be patient and know that even when it looks like much isn't happening for you, that he's still there. Know that when you feel like you're alone in that season, that he's still there and he's still working for you on your behalf. He's going to do things in the way he wants to do things because he wants to get the glory out of it. Like, I could have tried to make things in my way, but it probably wouldn't have worked out the way I wanted it to work out, and then he wouldn't have gotten any glory out of it. So I was in this cloud or this covering for 3 long years because he wanted to get the glory out of it. And like I said, there's so many layers and chapters to this story that I'll share at another time, that you'll see how he's getting the glory out of every single thing in my story. So like I said, I just wanted to encourage you that if you're under a cloud right now, look at your cloud and see if you can find God in it. Because maybe it's not just a cloud, maybe it's God's covering for you. just know that God's there. He's working. And if he says it's so, it is so. Thank you, Pastor Reno. All right, you guys have an awesome day, and I will see you around Facebook. Bye.